Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you all had a super fantastic, sparkling Serenity Sunday. I tell you, today I am so grateful for the roller coaster type of day that it was. We started off, but before I get into what happened today and all the fun stuff, and my roller coaster day, and you'll see why in just a moment. How was your day? How did you rest and relax and recharge? What fun did you get up to today? Did you shake your day up a little bit? I know it's Shake It Up Saturday and Serenity Sunday, but sometimes you just overflow into the Sunday and shake it up a little bit as well. Did you sleep in? Did you go out for a picnic? Did you just have quiet family time? Did you read? Did you watch a movie? Did you go for a run? Did you go mountain climbing? Oh my gosh, did you go boating? Wow, we had a, yeah. Did you go to the dog park? Did you go for walks? Did you go for a hike? What did you get up to today that was restful and relaxing for you, and just something that got you out of the normal? Maybe it got you out of the house, maybe it didn't, but whatever you did got you out of the normal routine of what you do on a Sunday. So let us know in the comments below, because I'm always looking for different ways to rest and relax and see how other people rest and relax. I know some people are going to go for a run, do like an Ironman thing, and that for them is relaxation. To me, that looks exhausting, but hey, each to their own. It's like me reading a book with somebody who's always active. They think that I'm just boring because I'm sitting reading a book. And I just think they're nuts because they're going out and doing all this activity stuff. So, it's a little bit of give and take here and there. But, whatever it is that you do to rest and relax and recharge, that's what you do. Everybody is unique and different, and that is what I love about the human race, is our uniqueness. We are each individuals. We each have our own thoughts. We each have our own likes and dislikes, and that's just the way it is. And isn't it awesome? Anyway, Serenity Sunday. So Serenity Sunday for us was a roller coaster day through a wide range of emotions. We started the day off by sleeping in a little bit, then getting up, and we ended up going for a walk. We hopped in the car and then came back and got ready to go out in the car, got the water cooler ready, got Zeffie's water bottle ready for the park, made sure I had my water bottle with me, and then we hopped in the car and we went off. And our first stop was the mail. So we went and got the mail. There was a box. There was a box sitting there. And if you haven't already seen the quick live I did on Facebook earlier, you'll get to see it soon. You'll get to see what was in that video and what was in the box. And there was some really cool envelopes there that I really wanted to open, but I had to wait till I got home. And you'll get to see those too, because they're very, very special ones. And so then I was like, oh, but no, I promised I would take Zeffie to the park. So we are going to the park. And we hadn't had breakfast at that point. So we went to Panera Bread and got one of their 4 cheese, because they were out of the bacon and spinach ones, one of their 4 cheese souffles. Oh, they are so good. And one of their chocolate croissants, even better. It's my reward day. So we got that and we went and sat in the park, in the parking lot, and ate it. And Zeffie, of course, had her nose as far over as she could possibly reach. We have a seat cover in the back of the car, which is kind of like a hammock. So she can't fall down between the back seat and the front seats, because it comes off the back of the front seats, around across the seat and back up the other side. But what was funny is I was putting her in, I got her into the car and I told her to stay. And I had her buckled in, and I told her to stay while I went and grabbed her bag to put behind the seat. And I turn around and she's kind of almost sort of hanging from the car. She had decided to jump out and follow me, but she was buckled into the seatbelt buckle and had a lead that was only so long, and her feet could just touch the ground. And she's kind of hanging there in her harness. And I looked at her and I said, I told you to stay. So I dropped the bag, picked up, put her back inside, and got her all sorted out there, and then put the bag and closed the door. And oh my gosh, that's the first time she has ever done that. And the entire time we've had the car, which is almost a year, that is the first time she has ever done that, tried to jump out. Normally she does stay. And she watches me walk to the RV, pick up her bag, and come back and put it behind the seat. And then I close the door. Then I go get the half-gallon, I think it's a half-gallon, little water cooler thing, and that I use to fill up her water bowl and her water bottle when I need to if we're out, and my water bottle too, and my handbag that has my writing stuff in there. and and go and put that behind the driver's seat. And I had to get over there, and suddenly I had to like straighten everything up because she pulled it as far as she could pull it. So I had to kind of straighten everything up again. But she was so funny. She was just, the look on her face was like, what have I done? Help, please. But anyway, so yeah, so we had she had some breakfast. She didn't get the chocolate thing. She wasn't happy about that. And so then we went back towards home, and I thought, well, we can either go to the 303 and go that way, or we can go to the 60 and get on the 303 there. So I thought, we'll go to the 60 and get on the 303. So we get onto the 60. We're driving along. I'm in the right-hand lane expecting that I'm going to have to take a right exit. Yeah, no. I find out as we get close, it's a left exit. I have a car literally sitting right next to me. I can see his front bumper out of my peripheral vision right beside me. And I needed to get over to the third lane over. There was no way I was getting across that traffic. And so I thought, well, there's got to be somewhere around here that, 60 has to intersect with something that I know somewhere along the way. And so we just kept driving and driving and driving and driving and driving and driving. And the next thing we're seeing the sign for Wickenburg coming up. And I'm like, oh, that's up on the 17. Well, we could get on the 17 and then we could backtrack to the 303. Got it. And then as we're driving, so I thought, that's fine. And we'll get to go for a drive around Wickenburg before that. The whole way that we are driving, because of the speeds that we were going, I had the windows closed because my ears don't do well at speeds with windows open. And Zeffie kicked up a performance in the back seat. Her whimpers and her whines and her so then in the end, I just started singing. I just started singing with her, and just singing different songs that came into my mind and all of that sort of stuff. And she kind of quieted down a little bit. I thought, okay, Mama's singing voice works. Let's keep this going. And then I stopped, and then she starts up and I go, are you singing to Mama? And there was dead silence in the back. Like, no. But anyway, so then we got up to I saw this road coming up that said that it was going to go onto the 74 to the 17. And I thought, oh, I can take the 17 and get on there and go down. So we get onto the 17 and we're driving along, and I'm like thinking, shouldn't be too far away because the directness. Yeah, no. The sign next comes up that says Lake Pleasant 22 miles. And I'm like, crap, the dog park's the other side of Lake Pleasant. I'm like, man, did I just screw up here? I didn't even have my GPS on. There was really nowhere to pull over and put it up. And Zeffie kept up her thing in the background, so I kept up my singing. She quieted down. And what it was is she wanted the window down. The second I put the window, we got into an area where we were under 60 miles an hour. I put the window down and she shut up. She had been asking me to put the window down the entire time and felt like I was ignoring her. So she was letting me know that she was not happy about being ignored. So we're driving along. We go past the one entrance to Lake Pleasant. We keep going. We go past another entrance to Lake Pleasant. Keep on going. I'm like, we've got to intersect with a 303 at some point. Then the sign comes up and says Lake Pleasant right, and Parkway right. And I'm like, yes, I know that street. So we turned right onto that one and went down there because that's where the dog park is off Lake Pleasant. And Zeffie had started up her singing in the background again. Only because we got to another area where you can go 60 miles an hour, so the windows were up. So, of course, as soon as we turned that corner, we dropped back to 50, so the windows went down again. She shut up, and then she started getting excited because we were close to the dog park. So we got to the dog park, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, after all of that, I need to go to the restroom. But I can't leave the dog in the car because she will start whimpering even if I do have the windows cracked open. Plus, it was 70. It was said it was 70-something degrees outside, which means if I sat it there because in full sun, it would get hotter in there. I thought, screw it, I'm just going to take her into the restroom with me. There was no signs anywhere to say that no animals were allowed into the restroom. So I was like, yes. And so I went into one of the accessible ones because it was bigger and with her, and she's trying to crawl under the things are about this high off the ground, so all she has to do is just duck her head and she can walk underneath them. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it was very interesting trying to keep a tight rein on her so she wouldn't go under the door, under the walls or under the door, while trying to take care of business. So that was a very interesting experience. It's the first time I've had to do that with her. So I thought, okay, now that we've done that, we're going to sort this thing out and we'll get it down pat next time. And so then we walked over to the dog park and she had a blast just running around and didn't really get up to any speed or anything. She just loped around, and every now and again she'd put on a burst of speed and then she'd just lope around. And but she had a really, really good time. And we were there about 30 or 40 minutes or something. And then I was sort of like, okay, let's go. She kept laying down in the shade too much. And I knew at that point it was time to leave. So we left and got into the car and just headed back home. And we got back home here. And I said, oh, I've got that mail in the back. Let's go see what's in the mail. So we come inside, we sit down, and I'm like, cards or parcel? Parcel first. So I opened up the parcel, and you are not going to believe what was inside. My friend Peggy, she is awesome. Completely out of the blue. Well, she did ask me the other day what size sneakers I take. And I go, well, what size sneakers I take? And I said, well, I have wide feet and I wear a men's 9. She goes, what's that woman's? I got no clue. The only sneakers I wear are New Balance. And I usually get the men's size because they fit better than the women's ones too. So I have no idea how that converts. And I can't look at my sneakers to tell you what size they are because I've had them so long, all the writing's rubbed off. And then my favorite mules, the sole's coming off. And I'm like, oh no. And they don't make them anymore because I went on the New Balance site and I was like looking up to see if they still had the mules and they don't. And I was like, what? Because they had the 801s and they replaced them with the 901s. Well, I didn't get the 901s. And so I thought, well, and so I was like looking on, I went to Zappos. They didn't have any. I went on to Amazon. They had the mules, but they did not have my size. Did not have my size. And I found a size conversion chart there. Like if you were a men's 9, that's a woman's 10 or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I'm an 8.5 to a 9 on the men's side. So anyway, I opened up the thing and I was wondering why Peggy was asking me about my shoe size. Had no idea. Well, oops, hang on. Get this right here. No, I need that one there and that one there. And then I need to go like this. This is what was in there. These sneakers, aren't they awesome? I mean, look how sparkly they are. These are so cool. And they fit. But I didn't have socks on at the time, and so they were a little loose, but I thought if I put a pair of socks on with these, they will fit perfectly. And I'm like, oh my gosh, whatever she did to get the size that she got me, I was like, this is awesome. So I am very appreciative of this, Peggy Beauregard. Thank you so much for my new sparkly sneakers. They are very super fantastic and sparkling. I love them. And they're super, super comfortable. They got these nice big thick rubber soles on them. Really, really comfy. I have no idea what size they are. I was trying to find a size on them. Oh, hang on. Maybe that's what's in there. Oh no, that's just the brand. Oh, it's written there in tiny, 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 tiny print that you can't read. Oh, there we go. It's a medium width and an 11. Wow, these are oh, hang on. US 11. Okay. Oh, what do you know? My feet have grown. Well, the US 11, whatever make these are about the same as I think it's I don't. So we're a woman's 11. Got big feet. But these are really, really comfy. So these were a very, very nice surprise. So thank you again, Peggy. So that was surprise number 1. Then I had these envelopes that were addressed to Zeffie. Like, well, it was Zeffie's birthday last week, and I didn't get to the mailbox last weekend. So her birthday was on the 3rd, and I didn't get to the mailbox in time. But she got a really cool card from my friend Annette, wishing her happy birthday. So that was really cool. Then she got another card. She got another card from my friend Laura. This cute. Look at that cute puppy. And inside it said, wishing you a positively awesome birthday from her friend Laura. And she got a cute puppy on the back. So cute. And then this was the best one. Now I have blocked out the address for certain reasons. This was the envelope. The little mini Zeffies. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Kathy Baxter, you're awesome. These are all the little mini Zeffies. And no, it doesn't usually come with blue stickers on there. And then it's like a happy birthday Zeffie. And then you open it inside and there's all these Zeffie pops. It's cracked me up. Zeffie pops. And just the little sticks on each of them. And that's from Kathy and her cat Panda. And then on the back, there's Zeffie cupcakes. cracking up so hard when I saw that. But thank you to, to Kathy and Pando and Laura and Nanette for Zeffie's birthday cards. She very much appreciated them. She may not have laughed as hard as I did, but we had a good laugh. So that was kind of our afternoon, and then I was like, I just want to go and relax this afternoon. I was supposed to do laundry. I'll get to my laundry. But I was just like, I'm just going to rest up. I had a couple of hours to rest up because then they were my first cousin was removed. So my dad's first cousin passed away this past week, and she was such an incredible and amazing person, such a huge heart, very family orientated, very much a servant's heart, just an incredible human being. And she passed away on Thursday, and they had her funeral today. Well, in New Zealand it was Monday. It was Monday in New Zealand, and there was a beautiful. They had it on Zoom. So that was really cool. So I made sure I was on and camera ready for a funeral. The only black top I had that didn't have writing on it was my sparkly black top. So I thought, it's okay. It's okay. My brother and his wife were on the Zoom as well because it was by invite only and you had to be vaccinated in order to attend. And it was a beautiful service. It started at 5. They were supposed to start at 5:30 my time, and they started like about 10 minutes earlier than that. But it was a beautiful, beautiful service for such an amazing woman. There was emotions running wild, even on Zoom. And I knew that if I'd been there in the room, I would have been a basket case. But being able to watch it it's the first time I've seen a funeral on Zoom. We broadcasted Brad's one. I've seen one other broadcasted one before, but this one was the first time. And so you had the chat going for people that wanted to chat. It was a very beautiful service. They did it very well. It went for 2 hours. Supposed to start at 5:30. It ended up starting just after 5:20 my time. Thankfully, I'm one of those people that like to get on 10 to 15 minutes before an event starts, sometimes earlier depending on the event. But it was good to be on there, and we had about 46. Well, it said there was 46 people online, but I know that some of them were families because they had the name and then family. And those that had the camera on, you could see that there was, like, my brother and his wife were sitting watching on one Zoom. There was a family of 4 or 5 sitting there watching it together. So they had families around computers and stuff watching the service, and it was a beautiful service. It definitely celebrated her life. We got to hear from granddaughters and my granddaughter, grandsons. One of the grandsons actually made her casket, which was beautiful work, and he had made rope handles for it, which was really cool. And they said that there was 2 different types of wood used. I only remember one of them was Japanese cedar, and I can't remember what the other wood was that they used, but the top of it was beautifully carved, and it was just the grandson had done a gorgeous job with that casket. And he had been specially asked if he would make it for her. So I know it was a very tough time for him to do that for his grandmother, but it was beautiful. The people we got to hear from her brother and sister who are here in the States. They had written letters, and one of the cousins read it out for them on their behalf. It was just a gorgeous, gorgeous service, and I didn't even realize it had gone for 2 hours. I was really into it, and I was, tearing up every now and again, like I usually do at a funeral anyway. But I completely lost it. They took the casket outside, they placed it into the hearse, and the grandsons got together and did a haka. And the haka used to be was a war dance. Was a you get them doing the war dance before the Maoris would go into war, into battle. But in Maori mythology, it's actually, the haka is actually a celebration of life. And that's when I totally lost it. They were just, I couldn't stop the tears. Could not stop them. Those grandsons coming together and doing that for that grandmother, it was very moving and felt many, many miles away on video. It was the emotions that they put into that haka. And it was very much a beautiful send-off for an amazing woman. So so they finished the Zoom, and I got glimpses of my parents there. And I've since texted with my mum. My mum, she texts me every day. She's done so since Brad passed. But then she said that they went and had the wake afterwards, and they got to talk to lots and lots of family and catch up with family and all of that. So I'll get the latest on the latest later on. And but yeah, it was good. And they actually draped her coffin. Once they brought her coffin and her casket in, they draped it in the American flag and the New Zealand flag, because she's a citizen of both countries. And I thought that was a beautiful touch for them to do that for her. But yeah, they did an incredible job. And the grandkids just came together and helped pull everything together, and it was just awesome. It was awesome. And then we got back from a walk. See, so yeah, so as you can tell, it's been a very much of a roller coaster day, from surprise to laughter to tears, and even during the funeral there was laughter and tears. It was a great celebration of her life. The only problem we had was the audio was out a little bit at times, and I think that's because there was a lot of background noise in the chapel that they were in. But we heard what we heard, and it was great. That's all I'm going to say. It was awesome to be able to hear the tributes from so many people, and about the type of woman that she was. So yes, that was awesome, and a great send off for her. So I can't wait to chat with my mum to see what happened at the wake afterwards, who they got caught up with, what the latest family news is for that side of the family, and that sort of thing as well. And then after that, Zeffie came out a couple of times like, I need to go. So we didn't get out of here till after 7:30. Like, it was almost like 7:45, I think it was, when we finally left for her walk. Completely dark outside. So I got her little flashy lights out. I need to discover the batteries were on flat. And I'm like, and I couldn't be bothered going and finding the batteries. I think they're up in the cupboard up here. And then we got back, and I was like, I really don't feel like going inside and cooking anything for dinner, or making anything. So we just hopped in the car and we went over to Arby's and got one of their hey, Ziffy girl. Got one of their what did we get? Smoked brisket sandwiches. And that way I can just throw away the buns and have the brisket. That was good. It was fine. But we came back home, and I'm sitting here eating it, and of course, little miss wants her little tidbits. And so then I'm just like sitting here and just thinking about what I'm going to talk about this evening, and got a couple of other things that I needed to get done tonight, and especially on my calendar, since even though Arizona doesn't do daylight saving, I still had to change some of the meetings on my clock because they said they were Mountain Standard Time when they were entered. But Mountain Standard Time had them at 9 o'clock in the morning when they're actually going to be at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I had to go through and change all of those. So I'm not late for my meetings tomorrow, because some of them are put in a different time zone. Yes, and the slurping was Zeffy. But I'm sitting here and I'm just updating my calendar and stuff. And the next thing I hear is treats. I look up. It was 8:50, and I was like, oh yeah, we're a little late on. But she got all of the praise and all of that, and she's just standing there next to it waiting for me to come. And then she stomps on it, comes and stands halfway between the table and her button and looks at me. And I'm like, good girl. And I get up and I give her a treat and all of that. And so I looked around and thought, we'll start getting her hiding of her treats that we normally do. And we get these little training treats that are about this big, break them in half and throw them around. And she walks up and she looks at me and she walks over and she goes, treats. So gave her a treat while I'm doing that. And then she just reaches over and goes, treat. I'm like, no. I says, no more. I said, this is the last one. And she just looks at me. She gives me that mischievous look that you know how kids just give you that mischievous look when they're younger, and then they just reach over and do whatever it is you tell them not to do. They just reach over and press a button or grab something they're not supposed to, but they keep eye contact with you while they do it. That's what she did. That is what she looks at me and reaches over with a paw and goes, treat. I was cracking up laughing at this time. So she got another treat, and I said, that's it, no more. I said, let me finish hiding your treats, and then you can go play your nightly find of the treats. And so she just sat down and waited. But she was so funny. So yes, it's been a very up and down type of day, and that's okay. I am grateful that I got to participate in what I got to participate in. I'm grateful that I was able to watch Linda's funeral online this evening to be part of that, because she was such an amazing person. And yeah, it was wonderful to be able to watch that and watch the family come together too. It was a little hard to identify some of the people, because some people wore masks and some people didn't, and I'm sort of like, that kind of looks like that could be that person, but I'm not really sure because I can only see from here up, and if they took the mask off, then I would know. So some people were masked, some weren't, but it was like I said, very well done. Totally, it was a great send-off for an amazing person. And with that, I am declaring today complete. I am going to go to bed and get a good night's sleep, because I lose an hour tomorrow in my morning routine that I had just gotten sorted out, that I get up at 5 and then at 9 o'clock I'm online for my wake up call. And now I have lost an hour out of that. I'm now going to be online at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, all because of daylight savings. So I am out of here. Thank you again to those that sent birthday cards to Zeffy. Those were awesome. And thank you again to Peggy for my sparkly shoes. Those are awesome too. So go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling, restful night. May you have a sound sleep and wake refreshed tomorrow for a brand new start of the week. And we'll catch you online bright and early tomorrow morning for Magic Monday. Hey, Conera.